There are many shade gardeners who get obsessed with the spring diva plants like the hostas and the bleeding hearts and other beautiful plants. But Phlox divaricata, or the woodland phlox, is a wonderful, fragrant native plant that weaves your shade garden together. It fills in around those divas and brings it all together. It's kind of like the rug in The Big Lebowski, where it ties all of his furniture together in the living room. It is a powerhouse of connectivity in your shade garden. Woodland phlox is a beautiful native plant found dancing through the dappled shade from the northeastern United States down into the mid-Atlantic states to Appalachia. If you can think of the bright flowers in the shade garden of a forest standing out like flames in the shade, that is what gives us the genus name. Phlox is a Greek word meaning flame. The species name is really the key here. Divaricata means spreading or divergent. And this plant has what they call lax stems. It creeps along the ground. Whenever we talk about plants, there's always the yes, but. So let's address some of those. Rabbits, they love phlox of all kinds. It's important to protect the young plants after you plant them. They love those tender leaves and stems. They will eat it right down to the ground. So a little chicken wire covering for the first year would be a good thing to do. If you want some more of these low-stress, science-backed solutions to your garden problems, hit that subscribe button. The other problem that phlox tends to have is powdery mildew, which is a white, powdery substance that appears late in the summer, and especially on the garden phlox, which is Phlox paniculata, which is a sun-loving plant that blooms in the muggy weather of the midsummer. Fortunately, Phlox divaricata, the woodland phlox, is almost immune to this. But don't overcrowd it and avoid overhead watering as best you can. The shade-loving woodland phlox fills in and creeps around your garden in a wonderfully connective way. You want to plant not just one, but you want to plant a river. You want to think of a stream through your woodland garden. Loves rich, moist soil that you would find with lots of leaf mold in our forest floors. That's where it does its best. Afternoon shade is important. Morning sun is really good. The more sun in the morning it gets, the more flower production you'll get from the plant. And speaking of flowers, this plant is very fragrant. It's a great plant, not only for us and our olfactory senses, but it's very attractive to pollinators of all kinds. There are specific pollinators like the clear-winged hummingbird moth and the swallowtail. Both have evolved to use the pollen and the nectar from these plants. They are an important part of our ecosystem. All these insects provide food for songbirds as well. So you're not only planting something for you, you're planting something for the entire network of birds, insects, and animals that live around us. It blooms mid-spring, and then it dies back, and the blooms disappear. You take it back to the core of the leaf base and leave that. It stays semi-evergreen through the summer. This is a great plant to pair with ferns or hostas. A lot of woodland native plants will grow well with this around their feet. You can think of the woodland phlox as the floor of your garden, and these other ones, the trees as the ceiling, if you will, and the bleeding hearts, other native shade-loving plants as the focal points. So you can really provide an interesting understory for your other shade-loving plants. A couple of cultivars to look for Phlox divaricata are blue moon and clouds of perfume. That gives you an idea how fragrant this plant is. Another shade-loving plant that comes into focus after the blooms of the woodland phlox have disappeared, wonderful silver foliage, Brunera macrophylla. You can find it here.